What's up, everyone? This is Areve. Hope you're having a great Thursday or whatever day you watch this on. I've been inspired to make a video because I feel like there are so many interesting things about Raid, and I think it gets somewhat of a bad rap just with how aggressive they are with, or were, I guess I should say, with advertisements, with YouTubers and streamers and whatnot. Um, but I feel like there's so much depth and so much replayability with this game that I wanted to share my account, share some thoughts I had, and just sort of do a yap or just a conversation about kind of what makes this so much fun, and give you some context about sort of as a light spender, how like free to play strategies have helped me, and just sort of just share like my experience so far. So I have a little sort of list I wanted to go over here, but I think for now, like just a little bit of background. I started playing back in 2019. You can see the badge here for 2019. I played for like 6 months maybe. I got Syl, the Drakes, and then some life stuff happened and basically stopped playing. I was inspired to come back during the anniversary event, which was a couple months ago now. I think it was the Armons fusion, which unfortunately I missed out on. And when I came back, I found so many cool uh, changes that they had made since 2019. And obviously, a game's going to evolve as time goes on, but um, it's really sort of sucked me in and captured sort of this resource management, hero management sort of itch in my brain that I think it does so well. So before I get ahead of myself, I just want to go over just sort of my account progress so far, so you can get some context as to kind of like where and how I see the game. So, Great Hall, not great. This account is actual playtime is under a year, so um, not a lot of progress here. This was, I don't know what I was doing here. But I finished accuracy. We're working on crit damage now. As far as my clan boss teams go, I'm one key Ultra Nightmare. If I can, yeah, this is me right here. I haven't done Nightmare Brutal yet. Usually do that when the quests reset, but this was a new development. I was not this progressed in my clan boss team when I first picked it back up. And I want to say in like 5 or 6 months, I've been able to kind of build a team. I did the Wixwall fusion. That was my first fusion coming back, and have been able to have a pretty solid one key team. As far as like my spending goes, I'm like I said at the beginning, I'm a very, very light spender. Maybe $15 to $20 a month at most. I think you can accomplish a lot of what you want to accomplish in this game without spending any money. And there's a bunch of channels out there that have done that very successfully. It just takes a lot of time and careful management of resources, and that's what I like so much about this. But so that was my clan boss. My Hydra clan boss is hard. I just do hard and normal. My clan's not killing Nightmare every reset, so we have, I mean, I've used one key, so a one key hard, one key normal, and that's generally what I do. Just a limitation of gear and champions right now, but we'll get into that. As far as my dungeons go, basically 25 on all of them. Spider's the only one that's not 25, and I haven't even really tried to do 25. I've just been farming 20 whenever I need to. The big thing that I'm focusing on right now is faction wars. You can see 708 here. Not not great on the Shadowkinners, Sylvan Watchers. Don't really have like a lot of champions for these at all. And weirdly, my dwarf faction, I just happened to get like 4 really good dwarves, and my 5th one is just like a rare, and the 5 that I managed to get, I can, oh, I can't show you here, but the 5 I managed to get were capable of actually just clearing the whole thing out. So I feel like I got really lucky there. Um, Let me see if I can. Yeah, so like these are the 5 I use. I mean, Morag, Demitha, Geo, and this is Rearguard Sergeant and Bulwark. Nothing to write home about here. Actually pretty average all around, except for Geo being an excellent champ. So faction wars are a big thing I'm working on right now. Doom Tower I'm clearing normal every reset. Usually you get about halfway through hard before I just run out of steam. Sidious and Tyrannos is normal. I can't kill Amius yet, but I think we're getting there. What else? My mission progress. Did finish Arbiter before I quit the original time when I first started playing. Ramontu and Marius missions were not a thing when I quit, so this has been kind of nice to start progressing through this. I'm kind of just taking this as it goes. I'm not trying to like force this or anything. What else? So as far as account progress, I think it is important to be able to do fusions, and for a while there I could not do fusions, and as soon as I started basically killing Ultra Nightmare Clan boss, that sort of opened up for me. And so I did basically every fusion for a couple months. I think it was like Wixwell, Scorid, the Incarnate. I didn't do the Incarnate. I was on vacation, and I still don't know where I'd use the Incarnate, if at all. Houndmaster did that one. What else did I do? I'm just kind of blanking on what the last couple ones were, but yeah, I mean, I can do them if I need to, or if I want to. So, anyways, and I think that was sort of what hooked me, as being, once I was able to complete events and be sort of engaged in the larger community with doing that and not feeling like I was behind, that's when I really started to really get hooked on the game. And I think that what brought me back to the game was I used to be a big content consumer. I think Chosen back in the day, Hell Hades back in the day, Ash back in the day, those were all guys that I watched pretty religiously, and I always felt like if I didn't spend money, I would never reach those levels that they were at. And I just don't think that's true anymore. The one caveat to that is that it is going to be extremely slow. But even then, that's been proven somewhat incorrect. And you can refer to the free-to-play challenge that Hell Hades did. I think it was in 2023, where all those guys, him and 10 Creator, I don't remember who they all were. I'm sure they were big names. I just didn't know who they were. Made insane progress on their accounts in just a certain amount of time. I'm not sure if it was 90 days or 180 days. But I mean, Ultra Nightmare Clan boss being cleared, a lot of faction wars being cleared out, like even more progress than I've made now. So I think with the right strategies, you can progress your account much faster, and that's what I'm still sort of slowly learning. And I think that's what's got me hooked on this, is that reaching the end game, a reasonable end game, not like a whale or a Kraken end game, but a reasonable end game, is actually very doable. Yes, there's luck with champions that you pull, and yes, there is a little bit of RNG involved with certain aspects, but overall, I think this is much more accessible than some of the other sort of gacha hero collector games that I've tried in the past, and where it definitely didn't stick for me that I wanted to keep playing them. And with Raid, it seems like there is just so much depth here that I do want to keep playing. I do want to keep progressing that account. So I think it's an interesting conversation to sort of go over like what Raid does really well. Obviously, that's not to say that there are not areas of improvement that they could make. Trust me, a lot of thoughts on that. Maybe that's the next video, but um, one thing I think that they do really, really well. So if you boil it down, what is the game? The game is collecting champions, fighting monsters, collecting loot. That's the whole loop. That's the entire gameplay loop. Now, there is PvP you can, but essentially those are just other monsters that you're fighting, and the context of the combat is a little bit different, where you're not just pre-planning everything to complete an encounter. You have to make dynamic decisions. Um, so I would say that that's probably a little bit different, but really the entire gameplay loop is get monster, or sorry, get hero, level hero up, kill monster, repeat 10 billion times. Um, and what they do so well with this is the variety in their champions. I think everyone would agree that Plarium's ability to create um, engaging artwork is the best in the genre. I can't really think of any other ones that do this better. There are occasionally champions from a long time ago that you might see that are not great. So I'd like to highlight one real quick. He was my first legendary. Um, it's okay. It's not great. And then you compare it to someone like Ninja. Like, get out of here. That's so much better. So like, not to get sidetracked, even though I sidetracked myself, the variety of champions is amazing. It's insane. Um, they all function somewhat differently, if not, some have similarities, of course, and you're going to have that when there's like 900 plus champions or whatever are in this game. But um, one of the things I learned is you might be after a specific champion, like a Newt or something like that. And Newt is like a one of one. There's just nothing else like it in the game. There are other max HP champions though that you can get to somewhat fill in. Will they perform the same as Newt? No, they will not. Will you have the same results? No. But if you can utilize your supports, you can utilize your other champions, you can still accomplish things in the game that a content creator or whoever would never tell you to do, because they don't have the same champions you do. So maybe they do, maybe they don't. But the team comps are very, very vast and wide and diverse within the game, and I think that's one of the things that I love so much about playing this game. The other thing, besides the art that they do excellent, I talked about that. Get out of here, Ninja. The other thing that they do really, really well, and I sense that for players that have been playing this for a really, really long time, that this is maybe a point of frustration, but ultimately it's just it is what it is type situation with a game like this, is I think the variety in gear sets and the gear system that they use is actually really, really really well done, and really cool with the changes that they've made. Originally, gear, we didn't have the forge, because I when I started playing there was no forge. They didn't have all these variable sets. Like, the most variable set that you would get, I mean, I'm not even talking about the 1 through 9 pieces. Like, when I stopped playing, the things at the bottom of your list were divine speed, divine life, all these divine sets. So basically anything on this list, divine speed and up, were all we had to work with. And at times it would be really frustrating to just continually get gear that was just the worst, and you were just selling it, and you were trying to force certain pieces to work, wasting your silver on that, and it was just a nightmare. So I think the forge has been an excellent addition. The rework ores have been a good addition. That could be done a lot better, but you can't have that idea for free. Plarium, that's mine. And the variable sets have been excellent, where even like say pinpoint, for example, even if you get like a pinpoint ring that maybe is like HP whatever, if you equip that, you're still getting a baseline of 40 accuracy plus whatever stats that are on it and that you roll up. So it has made gearing characters to perform at a specific level a lot less painful, and it's made it so that I feel like I don't have to save specific pieces for specific champions, and then I have to keep farming Fire Knight because I need this one piece of regen. It's like it's okay. Like there. I'm not sure exactly what I'm trying to say with the gear, but I just feel like going from what it was to what it is now, I don't feel the pressure, and maybe that's because of perception gear. I don't feel the pressure to constantly spend all my energy farming for gear. That being said, that is something I should do and need to do with my account progression as it stands now. So where I think my account is now, I would still consider myself early game. Maybe like starting to crack the door to mid game. I'm still missing quite a few key things for my account. Specifically, I have Mithrala kind of just chill. Oop, not there. I have Mithrala chilling here for the next fusion, so she's going to be pulled here soon. A couple other epics for the whatever champ chase comes up next. But I feel that I'm missing a couple key champions for certain key areas. And I do have some pretty good ones that I still need to level up and 6-star and do all that, and then they can start contributing. So I feel like I will probably still be in the early game until I can pretty reliably one key, Hydra hard, Hydra normal, maybe get up into brutal, and then start farming dungeons a little bit more reliably. I think I've been a little sidetracked by some of the other stuff that goes on, like certain tournaments that come up, events that come up, and narrowing my discipline into feeding my energy into into gear farming will start to not only increase my silver count, which I think is a little bit low with the fusion coming up in a few days, but also help gear up my champs, help progress my account. Because the one thing that I feel like the biggest lesson I have learned since playing in 2019, kind of picking the game up, re-educating myself about kind of how to play the game, is that one, the Great Hall is extremely important. And if you don't think so, having 20% more attack, 20% more defense, 20% more HP, 80 more accuracy, 25% more crit damage. If you don't think that's important, I'm not sure if I could convince you otherwise, but it's absolutely huge. So I think setting my sights on kind of what's next is continuing to build up my Great Hall. Continue building champions that I can use in several areas. So, for instance, Mithrala. Mithrala is a dark elf. Why did I go down Dead Hordes? Dark elves. Mithrala, great. Mithrala is a dark elf. So not only is Mithrala like an excellent champion, like for almost anything you want to do in the game, but if I go to my faction wars, look at my dark elves, yikes. So finding multiple uses for champions to be good in several areas and making sure that those get ranked up before maybe someone I want to rank up, that's gonna just be an exercise in discipline that I'm gonna have to do. This yap has gone on long enough, so let me just finish up with. I have a lot of ideas for the game. I really have been spending a lot of time learning and a lot of time watching videos and a lot of time sort of digesting content that's out there for this. And I think that there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do in here. And this is one of the few sort of like, I won't say mobile games because I'm playing on a PC right now, but this is one of the few sort of gacha hero games that has so many resources available. And I see it on Reddit, I see it on a lot of different places where people just constantly have questions, constantly are looking for help, me included. I'm in that boat as well. So just wanted to get it out there that um, this is really good. You don't have to spend money on it. I'm excited to share my progress moving forward. I'm excited to share some of the things that I accomplish within the game and some of the things that my clan accomplishes within the game. And just as a note, like sort of my, I'll say tentative plan moving forward. There is a fusion coming up. I don't know if it is on. It should be on the calendar. Oh, I don't see it. It's supposed to start on the 25th. Oh, the warm up event starts tomorrow. All right, cool. So there will be a fusion coming up. I'm going to do the fusion. During the champion chase, I'm going to pull Mithrala. During champion training, I'm going to train up Mithrala. Burngiri is next. Instead of looking at that, let's just take a look at this, because this is kind of how I sort of want to guide myself with what champs. So Burngiri is going to be next. I pulled him in the last event. He's going to help in Shadowkin Crypt a little bit, but also he's going to help a lot in Doom Tower, specifically Bommel. So that's going to be my next one. After that, I'm thinking some Sylvan Watchers, probably Dythe. I did pull a Glaciade a while back that's just been a Vault Guardian, just because I haven't had the resources to rank him up, so he's probably going to be after Dythe. And then after that, probably a second Hex champ for Hydra. Most likely Scorid, because I did that fusion, and he's been just chilling in here. So yeah, probably him. I think that's my plan moving forward. So, if you want to, if you're a newer player, if you're an early game player, someone who's just getting started, you want to follow along the journey with me and with your own journey, would love to chat, would love to talk to you, would love to hear about your progress. And if there's anything I can do to help, I'd love to help as well. Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out. This was the Raid Yap #1. Looking forward to doing the next one. And I will see you guys later.